Right here, guys, on Thursday, page G8, at the beginning of your book, we're going to learn about a couple things. The first thing is something that's called a compass rose. Now, simply put, if you have a handheld compass that tells you what direction it's going, it always points to the magnetic north, right, or points north. So that way, if you know your directionals, you always know which way is north, which means the opposite way is south. And the old rhyme, or not the old rhyme, the old saying, right? West is left when facing north. So you know your directions there as you go along. And the reason it's called a rose is simply because if you use your imagination, that kind of looks like a little bit like a flower, right? Some are a little bit more ornate and things like that. But this is something you're going to get used to seeing on every map. And the reason is so you understand which direction is which way, right? Now, some compass roses don't even have north, south, east, west. But if you see this, you know, first of all, one, this is a compass rose, and this way is always north, right? That means this way is always south. And again, if you remember the saying, west is left when facing north, you know this way is west, and then this way is east. So even if you see a compass rose without any letters, well, you know which direction is which way. Now, when you look at a map, here we have the title on bottom, the United States of America, and it just shows United States. If you're wondering which way is north and which way is south, well, you look at the compass rose here. You look at the compass rose. N stands for north, S stands for south, W stands for west, E stands for east. If you're wondering why they have these little kind of things in the middle here, is because you can barely see it here, but you can imagine here that this way is northwest, this way is southwest, so on and so forth. And that's what we're going to focus on, is when you look at this, you have kind of, again, here's the compass rose, so you understand which way is north. But the second thing we want to focus on today is something that's called intermediate directions. Now, north, south, west, and east are something that's called the cardinal directions. That's a big fancy pants word for the main directions. North, south, west, and east. The intermediate directions are these. Because you know you don't always go just north and then west. Sometimes you can go this way. And as you correctly decipher, that's in the middle of N and W, or north and west, so that way is called northwest. That's why some compass roses have these. Now if you notice here, please don't get confused, but for whatever reason, again I don't know why, but it is the rule, north and south are always said first. That's just the rule. North and south are always said first. So again, and if you're going north, that's great. If you're going west, that's great. But if you go kind of this way, that's one of those intermediate directions or middle directions, and that way you're going northwest. Again, there's no such direction as west-north. It's not a thing. It has to be north and south first, or northwest. If you look back here at this map of the United States, here's good old Arizona. Now, if you take a look at the middle of our country, we split up a lot of our states in directions. We're going to go through this later when we talk about the regions of the United States. Well, we talk about these states as being the states in the north, and these states as being the south. And you can look at the compass and say, yep, okay, if you start in the middle of the country, that's north, this is south. But what about Arizona? Notice, we're not just west and not just south. We are an intermediate direction, southwest. And if you've ever heard of Arizona being the southwest, that's why. If you just go west, that's California. If you go southwest, that's Arizona. Now maybe you've heard of some of these states here called the northwest states. It's not north, it's not west, it's northwest. That's like the Washington, Oregon, Idaho states. That's again northwest. If you're a big football fan, which you don't have to be, but if you look here, all these states here are in something that's called Florida, Georgia, Alabama. They're in a football conference called the SEC. And what that literally stands for is the Southeastern Conference. And why? Because again, if you start in the middle of our country and you go this direction, it's not just south, it's not just east, it's the southeast. That's why these states are in what's called the Southeast region or Southeast Conference for football. And you correctly deciphered that this up here is the northeast. Again, no such thing as east-north. It's northeast because north and south always come first. That's just the rule. North, south, west, east. Those are the four main or cardinal directions. The intermediate directions are the ones in the middle, or are northwest, northeast, southwest, and southeast. This is something that's going to help you out. Please, the thing that can really fool people is not following the directions carefully. Please make sure you're doing it. Again, here is the compass rose. Here's the title, A Map of Sally's Vacation. And here's what I mean. Please read this carefully. Sally's family is taking a vacation. Very good. First, they are going from St. Louis, Missouri, to Atlanta, Georgia. So here's what I'm going to ask you guys very carefully to do. What I would do is very literally, I draw a line going from St. Louis to Atlanta, Georgia. So here to here. Now, what direction is that going? Looking at the compass rose, well, it's not south, it's not east, it's southeast. The way people kind of get this mixed up is they go, okay, Atlanta, Georgia to St. Louis, Missouri. That's northwest. No. It clearly says she went from St. Louis to Atlanta. So please make sure you're following directions carefully. Okay, it says next they went from Atlanta to Washington, D.C. You can't say north and you can't say east. You have to figure out what direction, so on and so forth, they're going. So that would be my personal recommendation on what to do. Draw an actual line and then tell me what direction it's going. Don't get it confused. And if you notice, again, north and south always come first. 4 questions, only 4 questions, but it's really going to help me understand if you understand the intermediate directions. But follow them carefully, because if you get only one wrong, that can really knock down your grade. So please be very, very careful with that. And again, Lord's Day.